All right, it looks like we are live. Sorry for the delay, guys, but my God, this has been years in the making as we got Sean Wick himself from JTISREBORN and also appears on Big Jack Films. I'm so excited. We've been having conversations for months now, and we need to bring this to the cage. That being said, Joe of FallenOne Gaming, do what you do best. Give me that countdown, my dude.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Casino. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Niebor from Dog Eat Dog, and you're watching NerdCage Live. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel. These are great guys doing what they love to do.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe. Okay. Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful!
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Hey guys, it's the original Shao Kahn, Brian Glenn, and I'd like you to subscribe to NerdCage Live.
This is Ernie C. from Body Count. You're tuned in to NerdCage. Can you like and subscribe?
Greetings, citizens. You're now trapped in a nerd cage. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You're now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Hello and welcome. That's right. Once again, you are trapped in NerdCage Live. This channel is a celebration of all things pop culture, including movies, comic books, and video games. If you are new to the channel, please hit that like button and subscribe. Helps us more than you know. I'm your co-host, J. St. G, Certified Geek. 7 days a week, coming to you live from yours truly, the land of the orange, the land of Tom Cruise, the land of Earth Crisis, the land of Anthrax, of Syracuse, New York. And always among us, it's our moderator and Trollhammer, stronger than the DK Banana Slammer. You can't stop it. You can't crop it. You can't top it. Like a B-52 bomber, Oppenheimer, he's gonna drop it. Born from the atomic seed in the titanium womb, he's the NerdCage Live Gaming Prophet. You know him, you love him. It's Joe from FallenOne Gaming. Please introduce this handsome fuck we got in the stream tonight.
And variant shirt, which I think when did I get that? When you did the bad movies stream, was it?
Yes,
that was like part of the
movies for charity.
Oh
Yes.
You do movies for charity. That was a good time.
Donation.
No problem. I'm like, you were like hitting the goal. I'm like, we got to hit the goal. Got to hit the goal. So I was excited. I love the shirt, and like I said, this is a better fabric than the official The Batman T-shirt I got from like DC Fandom. The lettering in that shirt just imploded entirely. This thing, on the other hand, no. This is some quality shit right here.
Thanks so much for the kind words. But before we go any further, Joe, who do we got in the chat tonight?
Well, the chat is slow in coming in, but I'm sure that all our regulars will be here very soon. Right now, it's just us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. All lurkers, whether if you're watching on Facebook, whether if you're watching on Twitch, whether you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you being here. But, Joe, we got a lot of stuff to promote real quick, and let's just go through it real quick, then we'll let Sean promote whatever he wants to promote. So, Joe, if you guys haven't already, our food review. Yes, and of course, our live stream from a couple weeks ago. Okay, hold on a second. There's something I gotta fix here, guys. I apologize. Technical difficulty, hang on. I gotta, I have to do something real quick. Not a big deal. It's easy fix. Hold on. So, again, let me just repeat the Sonic review. Hold on, guys.
So we're gonna insert that audio joke.
Okay, it's working. Okay.
Nope.
Okay, cool. And then paste this one. All right, and Joe, what about our live stream from last week?
Yes, our you didn't skip video games tier maker, right?
Yeah.
Yes, our tier maker with Fist Vegas, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tabmock 99. That was an amazing live stream. Lots of tension, but I think we brought it home.
All right, and speaking of Tabmock 99, tomorrow on Twitch, Joe.
Yes, we're going to be playing a game that he designed himself, the Shujinko game.
Excellent. Yes, I'm very excited. That will be on twitch.tv/NerdCage Live at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And then, Joe, Saturday, birthday boy.
Yes, my birthday live stream with a watch party of Ready Player One.
Very, very excited for that. And then,
Happy
Joe,
birthday.
Yep. He's 3666. And Joe, since we beat Zelda, what are we playing this coming Tuesday?
God of War 2, the original God of War 2.
Yes, be there for that, and this is gonna be my first time playing. So yeah, God of War 2 virgin over here. So go easy with me, caress me, make this first time memorable and extra special for me. And then Joe, a week from tonight on YouTube.
Yes, we will have Jesus of Joe Blow's celebrity interviews. Jimmy O will be on the show. Can't wait for that one.
Absolutely. And of course, Joe, we've been chopping at the bit, but next Friday over on Twitch.
Yes, next Friday on Twitch, we will be doing a playthrough of Resident Evil 5.
co-op. I'm Sheva, and Joe's going to be the boulder puncher. We are excited to be co-oping Resident Evil 5 start to finish, starting next Friday. And then Joe, September 7th, the big man returns.
Yes, Big Pat of Big Pat Sports graces us with his presence once again.
Very, very excited for that. Backed by popular demand. We're excited to have Big Pat from Welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk. And I don't know when, but at some point I will get back to Hades. So, all right. So that's all the upcoming shows. And, of course, as Sean mentioned earlier, go waddle over to our TeePublic, our merch store, where you can get all sorts of awesome merchandise, including hoodies, stickers, and, of course, pillows, too. This is Mike Lindell here from NerdCage Live Pillows. This is so much better than my pillow. Oh my god, it feels really good on the neck, and it's got this really awesome design. Oh, yeah, get yourself a NerdCage Live pillow. And of course, look at all these goddamn t-shirts we got. Of course, we're Mortal Kombat fans here. We got the arcade marquee. Mortal Kombat 1 Fatality. Sorry, the hanger's fallen. Mortal Kombat 2 Fatality. Mortal Kombat 3 Fatality. Do not tell the RZA, but we got a Shaolin style design. And of course, for you PlayStation fanatics, we got this design. Our top selling t-shirt right here. And if you plan on seeing Barbie, get yourself a NerdCage Live shirt in pink. And of course, Joe showed up we're also Zelda fans here. So we got this shirt and the Sword and Shield shirt and more. Listen, any size, any color, from small all the way to 5XL. So whether if you're skinny, booty call, or fat fuck, it don't matter, big or small, we love them all. And yeah. So Joe's got the NerdCage Live MCU shirt on, and of course of course Sean's got the Batman shirt on. So like I said, get yourself a NerdCage Live shirt, Sean. All right, so I want to give you the floor for a minute. Promote whatever you got to promote on your channel or any upcoming events you have coming up. And please, oh please, let us know how you got started in this game.
All right, well, thank you again for having me on the show. It's a real honor to be on here. I don't get invited like that much on things, so it's always really fun and exciting to jump onto a live stream whenever I can. So it's a really good time. But anyway, so I guess I'll promote a few things that I got coming up. So like I said, weekly comic book stuff, some after the movies. Tomorrow, I don't know what time I'll have it posted. It's already like uploaded. I just got to schedule a time for it. But my Godzilla Fest trip, which I took last month, which was an absolute blast, had a really good fun time there. So that vlog, which is basically like almost like a little documentary type thing of like my experience there, like from like the Thursday up through Sunday. Big Jack Films is in it, Cinematic Trash, and maybe some others showed up in the video. So that little documentary type, whatever you want to call it, vlog thing, that'll be posted tomorrow. So that's pretty much all I got planned. And then some other stuff coming up later on in the year. Of course, the conclusion of the Halloween reviews, which will be out in October. So other than that, like I said, just kind of playing things by ear. So, but I guess like in terms of YouTube stuff, in terms of like when I started, so the name JT is Reborn. Like what happened was like I made a channel years ago with my cousin. It was called like El Capitan and JT, but then YouTube copyright was way worse back in the day than it is now. Even though I was following the fair use policy, they just pretty much just hacked that channel to pieces. I lost a bunch of old videos, which I've never been able to recover. And so I was like kind of feeling down, like I'll make a new channel. So like I was the JT on the channel. So then I put Is Reborn like as a continuation of that. And I never bothered to change the name, so I've just kind of kept it as is. So yeah, like I said, I've been doing YouTube stuff for like about a decade or so at this point. So kind of more casual back then, and like a lot of stuff was like more scripted in that, and it was kind of fun videos with friends. Like we would do like our own little horror short films and all that back in the day. Like I mean, just for fun. Like we'd film it like right after school or something, and then I got into like doing review stuff, and then I think like I was kind of hitting like I was like kind of losing interest in. And then back in like 2018, that's when I met like Big Jack Films and all that, and they kind of rekindled my interest in doing YouTube stuff again. And kind of pretty much ever since I started doing more live streams, started doing all sorts of other things, and like it kind of just like made me want to do stuff again. And then my channel finally like kind of blew up back in 2020, like when the COVID stuff hit, because like I started covering like a lot of the DC animated stuff, like Apocalypse War. I was like the go-to channel for that. And then that just like that pretty much blew up my channel, got me monetized and all that other stuff. So I mean, pretty much ever since then, I've been covering like DC stuff. I did like Godzilla stuff, of course, like back when the 2014 film came out. I did like a whole 30-day like marathon, which was really difficult to kind of do, especially like given my limited like experience at the time. So I kind of want to remaster or remake that at some point. Maybe when the new Empire comes out next year. I could do something like go from 30 to like 40 or maybe even 50 days of Godzilla would be kind of fun to do. So, but yeah, so like I said, I do it for fun. I enjoy it. I love when I can like jump on streams or like talk with other people, just stuff I can enjoy. It's a nice bit of escapism from the craziness of the real world when doing YouTube stuff for fun. So, but yeah.
Very well said. So I gotta say, so obviously you and I have mutual friends in common, including Big Jack. So how did you wind up in Big Jack's circle? Just out of curiosity.
All right. So what happened was another YouTuber, Nick Jackson. He had asked me to jump onto like one of his things to kind of discuss like Godzilla movies. And like I was like, all right, you know what, I'll give this thing a shot. And then so like I collaborated with him first. And then like there was other like he was already like in connection with a few others, like there was Kaiju Network and I think a few others at that time. But so is that. I didn't really know who Jack was at the time. I heard him on like on Nick's channel. And so like, oh, okay. And then like back in 2018, I went to G-Fest for the first time. Like last month was the first time I went there since 2018. So I've only gone twice, but this is the first time I've gone like the whole entire like weekend. So I met Jack in person. So I'm like, hey, you were so-and-so on something. He's like, oh yeah. And he was screening his King Kong movie and all that. So that was a very crazy day. Cause like I got up in the morning, I drove with my brother. It was like 4 hours there, spent the day and drove back like 4 hours. So we left at like 2 in the morning. So like we were like dead tired by the time the whole thing wrapped up. But yeah, like I said, I met Jack and then kind of like the circles kind of like formed from there and then started collaborating. I think the first video I did for him was the Dragon Ball Evolution episode, where I got to voice Perfect Cell, which was a lot of fun to do because he was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, I need someone to voice. I just got to get someone to voice Cell. I'm like, I can voice Cell. I'm like, okay, perfect. Like just something kind of like that. So it was fun to do, and then just kind of spawned from there, I suppose.
All right, awesome. That's how we kind of came about too, is on Big Jack streams, how we kind of came about. And of course, I'm just gonna repeat what I said earlier. Sean, obviously the shirt that he's got on, unfortunately, Warner Bros. And DC took it down. But what happened was when we did cheesy movies for charity last year. By the way, we may or may not be announcing cheesy movies for charity too in the near future. But anyway,
can we do? If you do, Jingle All the Way. That would be fun.
We have our movies picked out. Picked out.
I love that movie though.
That's all I'm gonna say. Well, I'm just gonna say this. Sean was kind enough to donate over $100 to St. Jude, so thank you for that. And that's why he's got that awesome NerdCage Live shirt. And then a month later, Warner Brothers were dickheads and they took it down. But what makes tonight really exciting is Sean and I are always going back and forth privately. And now we have to take that to the cage.
That's right.
So there's some but before, obviously we want to get to know you too. We want to ask you about your favorite games, your favorite movies, your favorite, TV shows and stuff like that. But there's some topics that we all have to, and Joe, we all have to discuss. Earlier this week, we got I wouldn't call it shocking news, but I guess when it happened, it did hit me in the feels a little bit. But Charles Martinet, who's been the voice for Mario for over 30 years, well, close to 30 years, is stepping down and retiring. He's not retiring from Nintendo. He's going to be a Nintendo ambassador, but he's no longer going to be voicing the Mario characters. This one hurt a little bit, but the man's almost 70, so I'm not like, so I guess it's appropriate. And then I guess we should have saw it coming when the movie came out, because it looked like they were kind of like beginning that transition from changing Mario's voice, even though it was the movie. But still, that being
your favorite actor, Chris Pratt.
More on him later. But Sean, I want to know, how'd you feel about Charles Martinet retiring, and how much does his voice and his work mean to you?
Well, I actually had the privilege of meeting Charles in person. So I actually have a photo with me and my friend Steve. Very nice guy. He was doing the Mario voice and all that. Talked to him for a minute. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of a bummer because it's like he is the voice of Mario. But I also feel at the same time, I feel like they've recorded so many variations of his voice that they'll probably just reuse stock footage or something. So I'm sure he's going to be well paid and compensated. He's always going to be Mario to everyone. And like, I'm sure like he'll pop up like somewhere in future. I know he says he's retiring, but I'm sure like that voice will never go away. Even with the movie and everything, everybody knows the Mario voice. Everyone knows Charles. Like he's one of the most beloved voice actors in existence. So I mean, and like I said, he's still going to be doing like promotion that for Nintendo. He will always have a place in everyone's like Nintendo hearts, if you will. So I mean, like I said, everyone retires at some point. Well, some people don't. Some people are like, I'll retire when I'm dead. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know you're an Arnold fan like I am. He was just like, I mean, Arnold's one of my like childhood heroes in terms of that stuff. Action heroes don't retire, they just reload. So, but some people are like, oh, they just retire. But it's like, no, screw that. I'm not retiring. I'm just going to keep making movies and doing what I do till I'm, done. But some people just want to retire, and I guess he's going to retire, but he'll still always be around. Like he'll always be Mario. So, like, nobody can take that away.
I met him, too, at Retro Game Con. Unfortunately, I don't have the pictures because they were my girlfriend's pictures, and she took them down on Facebook. But I did get an autograph from him. But, yeah, he was absolutely amazing to meet in person. But, Joe, I want to know, how are you feeling about the situation? And, of course, Joe is becoming a Nintendo kid again.
Well, it is kind of sad, but at the same time, he deserves a retirement. Now, being an ambassador of Nintendo, I don't know what that actually entails, but it sounds cool. So I think we're not gonna not see him. I just don't think we'll hear him if that makes sense.
From what I understand, if I read this right, obviously we're excited for Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon is coming to the Switch next year. Apparently, from what I read, that was the last newly recorded lines that he did for Nintendo.
Yeah.
So we're probably gonna hear him one more time from Mario Wonder. We'll probably hear him in Mario RPG Remake, and then when Luigi's Mansion 2 Remake comes to the Switch, that will be the end. That's gonna be like the last of the newly recorded lines that he did for Nintendo, from what I read. But yeah, it hit hard, but like Joe said, he deserves a retirement. I can remember the very first game that he did. It wasn't Mario 64. Joe, it was Mario Teaches Typing, and we had that game on our school computers. And that was the first time. That was the first time I ever heard Charles Martinet's voice. So yeah, day one Martinet fan over here. But Charles Martinet, thank you for all the work you've done, and you are Mario, you are our childhood. Your work has brought me joy to this day. We salute you, sir. Thank you for everything.
Yes.
Also, we have some people in the chat here. I just want to shout Teva Smolka and Toku Punk Productions. Thanks for being here, guys. Sorry about the technical issues earlier. We have a new sound scheme here, so thank you very much for being patient and stuff like that with us. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else? So other besides other news that's been dropping this week, but Sean, I really want to talk about something.
Okay.
I'm obviously a pro DC guy, even though X-Men will always be my favorite, but I'm pro DC over Marvel.
I'm a DC guy too. I like DC more than Marvel. I still like Marvel. I mean, I have a giant Infinity War stand poster back over there along with some other stuff. But I figured this side would be good. You can get your Blue the Raptor in the shop.
But anyway, Joe and we usually do a lot of movie reviews together, but I refuse to go see Blue Beetle. It's not that I think it's like a terrible movie, which I've heard it's actually not a bad movie. But the thing is, I'm kind of one of those people who was a little bit bitter towards Warner Brothers and DC for how they did Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and now Gal Gadot, and of course Ray Fisher. I feel like the failures of DC is by their own doing, and they deserve it. But anyway, I want to get your take. So, like I said, we didn't see Blue Beetle, so I want to get your take. What'd you think of Blue Beetle? And I want to know, I mean, obviously these DC flops. Oh yeah, by the way, they fucked over The Rock. But these DC flops have been kind of fascinating in a weird way. And again, it kind of brings me a little bit of joy. But Sean, I want to get your take on Blue Beetle and these failures of DC and all that.
You know, it's been a crazy year, not just for DC, but pretty much for movies in general this year. This has been like a record number of big, huge blockbuster flops. Even Mission Impossible, as good as that one, is going to lose money at the box. That was a fantastic movie, but like it's still losing money. Indiana Jones.
Well, that I saw coming. I mean,
Okay.
Crystal Skull was like the tall tale sign that this wasn't going to be good.
I'm like the only person I know, I feel like, who doesn't really hate Crystal Skull. Like, it's not a great movie, but it's not like half bad. Like, I mean, I'm like,
yeah,
it's
but the first 3 movies are damn near perfect. It's like a perfect trilogy.
Temple of Doom gets pretty Temple of Doom has Winnie, and she is insufferable. That whole movie. Last Crusade is my favorite. That is, that in my opinion, is the best Indiana Jones movie. So,
although I do think that some of this money loss is due to their new format. You know how they're pumping out movies faster than they have ever done, and they're not letting them sit in theaters like they used to, so they can gain money. So now, once they cut off, they only have money from, you know, streaming and the actual physical sales.
Well,
so
Joe, not just that, Joe, but to add to that, Joe, the writer's strike and the actor's strike didn't just happen out of nowhere. It was a long time. It was like 2 years in the making. And from what I understand, shout out to the Weekly Planet podcasts, 2 Australian dudes, love that podcast. I listen to them every week. Even though they don't need my shout out because I have millions and millions of subscribers, but they pointed out that the writer's strike and actor's strike was a long time coming, and the studios knew it was. So all of these movies were released in rapid succession. So The Flash, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible, they all got released right before the writer's strike happened because they knew it was going to happen. They didn't spread. These movies didn't get spread out enough. They all happened at once. And now me and Joe are fortunate enough to be single, good-looking guys who can we pretty much go out whenever we feel like it. But not everybody gets to go out to the movies like we do because there's people with families, and when you have a family of 4, family of 5, that can be like $100, $200 trip to the movies because you gotta factor in movie tickets, popcorn, concessions. So it's not like families can go to the movies. They kind of gotta pick and choose. They can't go like every week like me and Joe and Sean do. So that's a factor as well. But that's what happened was because the writer's strike was well on the way, and all these movies got crammed in together, and they just didn't get to flourish. Like Tom Cruise was mad because he wanted Barbie and Oppenheimer to back off so they can have time with the IMAX, and he's not wrong. He's right. But the problem is because these movies had to be crammed together, and of course Oppenheimer had to have the IMAX screenings. So yeah, it's just like. So that's a big factor too. These movies flopped because of the lack of time and all the like rapid succession of these releases because of the writer's strike. So
yeah, and here's a topical question from the chat. Teddy Smoko says that this isn't the first writer's strike. They had one back in 2008, but they want to. She wants to know, or he wants to know why did it happen?
AI.
And I just figured this out because I'm late to the party. I knew there was a strike. I didn't know why it happened, and I just heard it on the YouTube channel the other day that they basically wanted to use AI in writing, which is a very slippery slope because once you get into AI for writing, first of all, you take away creative freedom. You implement a system that's all automated and maybe just pick and choose and move some stuff around. So you could phase writers out completely if you use that model. And then on top of that, what's to say they wouldn't use deep fakes for actors and all that type of stuff and then just phase them?
Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Joe, but here's the thing. Disney, of course Disney. I mean, we already started seeing that with like Carrie Fisher and who's the actor there? Peter Cushing in those fucking Star Wars movies that they were copying and pasting. Now granted, they got permission from the estates, but that was the sign. They are copying and pasting these dead actors and dead actresses' faces to like body doubles to force them in movies, and it's very, very like off-putting,
It's the uncanny valley.
The only one I really agreed with was the Ghostbusters Afterlife when they did the Harold Ramis thing. Didn't even talk.
Tasteful. That was tasteful though.
Right, the whole movie is just a big tribute to him. So, and they didn't have him talk, which I think was the smart move to do.
Yeah.
I think that was the right thing. But
and of course, he was an animated ghost too. It wasn't like when you look at, like I said, I hate Star Wars. I'll take jabs at him any chance I get. But like when you look at Carrie Fisher in that Star Wars movie, like it looks
Rogue One.
weird, and then like Peter Cushing, like it looks weird, dude. Like, granted, like technology's come a long way, but it's still like noticeably odd.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the best use of that, like kind of like de-aging deepfake, like it was probably I know you're not a big fan of the director, but like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with Kurt Russell and the younger footage, because it was a combination of makeup and like stuff. Like it looks seamless to me. I'm like, wow, that actually looks pretty darn good.
You know what? I have to also give a shout out to is in the first Ant-Man movie when they showed a younger Michael Douglas. That
not
was
bad.
done pretty. Yeah, that was done pretty well too. Now, granted, I haven't watched that movie since it came out, but that beginning flashback with Michael Douglas, and I've always liked Michael Douglas and Kirk Douglas, like fantastic actors. And
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Gordon Gekko.
Yeah. So.
Xavier says Tron Legacy. I remember that too.
Yes. You know what? I actually remember they had little promotions for Tron Legacy where you could deep fake your face into it, and I I put myself kind of into it. Like they scan your face and then they put you into the little Tron light cycles, and then they have your mouth kind of moves and all that over the character and all that, and you get killed by Jeff Bridges' Clue or whatever. So, but we're in a weird state of movies and all that, and so also going back to
point out, Disney's really embracing this technology, and they're going hard in on it, and Netflix now they're going really hard on the AI thing too. So I completely understand the writer's strike and the action. I get it, but there also is a small part of me hey,
you're not making good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but if I have to lean towards, I'm obviously on the side with the I'm against the studio personally, but I can't say I agree with everything. But for the most part, I'm on the side of the writers and actors. It's just, it just sucks because at the end of the day, we're getting hurt because we're not going to get all these great, season 4 of The Boys has been postponed, a lot of movies have been postponed, and of course it impacts me directly because shout out to Joe Blow, I edit Joe Blow celebrity interviews, and if that's a part of the thing too with the strike going on, there's no celebrity interviews right now. So it impacts me directly because I get paid decent money for that. So it sucks. So hopefully this strike will come to an end. But what's really worrisome is that it's already been past 100 days, and the record is 100 days. And then now we're past that. And I think this is going to go for at least another 100 days, in my opinion.
It's going to be an interesting end of the year for the box office and all that too. So.
Yeah.
But hey, they're still promoting stuff.
I'm happy for Barbie. By the way, I loved it. For the record, I loved it. I'm not just saying it because I'm saying it. And I've always, first and foremost, I always loved Margot Robbie, and I like Ryan Gosling. But the movie was funny. Okay, the movie was entertaining. It was funny, and I love the aesthetic. But it's just amazing that Barbie just took down Mario as the #1 movie 2023. And now
it's still going.
You ready for this? Oppenheimer is about to take down Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
It's a crazy world we live in where a 3-hour biopic in a Mattel toy Barbie movie are the biggest movies of the year, basically. I mean, Mario made a lot more, but yeah, it's crazy. It's just insane to kind of think about it. And then you have all the flops going on. Going back to the DC thing, it's just one right after the other. And I think, too, it's partially because audiences just kind of lost interest. I think, too, even they're losing interest in Marvel, too, as well. I mean, look at Secret Invasion, all these. It's oversaturation of the market at once. It's quantity over quality. Even though I have had some enjoyment in the DC movies that even came out this year, I enjoy. I've seen The Flash twice. Yeah, the VFX are pretty bad. But I still got to see Michael Keaton again, which was really cool to see. You got to see Affleck do some stuff.
That's the thing. I liked The Flash mainly because that was all right, we get to see the parts of the Snyderverse one last time. That's why I enjoyed it, and I felt like at least the movie had a good story and motivation. Like, he was trying to save his mother, but saving his mother costed the universe. Not to mention, it was cool. Not only that, it was cool seeing Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck again, but it was awesome seeing Michael Shannon again.
Right, Michael Shannon, General Zod, I think is still the best DCEU villain.
Yeah, and shout out to who's that really attractive Mexican girl who played
Sasha Calle.
She was great as Supergirl, and what I liked too about it is I was terrified that they were gonna go like woke and make Supergirl more powerful than Superman, but they didn't, and they proved that the world needed Superman to kill Zod, and that even with Batman, the Flash, and Supergirl, they weren't strong. Two Flashes, they weren't strong enough to take down Zod, and I thought that was a good take. Not to mention the best line of the movie: "The infant didn't survive." Like, that was so. Oh my God, that was so great. So yeah, I got a soft spot for the Flash. I understand why it flopped. I mean, it's kind of crazy because you have Michael Keaton in the movie that still flopped, but the whole Ezra Miller thing. And of course, let's face it, James Gunn has not done DC any favors right now by announcing his upcoming slate. So I feel like people don't.
They should have held off on that for a while. But also, it's like it's not just him. It's like everything with that universe. Like when I did that long stream, I'm like, it's kind of everyone's fault. Like there's some things everyone involved in that universe is responsible. Every single person.
Yeah.
To an
like
extent.
I said, I'm mad. Zack Snyder. I'm a Snyderhead. By the way, Rebel Moon. We'll talk about that later. But,
oh yeah, I'm glad he's doing original IP stuff.
Here's the thing. I understand Warner Brothers' frustrations with Zack because the problem is Warner Brothers was looking over at the time, because Marvel's not doing shit right now, but at the time, Marvel was pumping out billion-dollar films, and they're looking over at Marvel saying, well, we should be doing the same thing. Now, I almost said Zack Wild. Zack Snyder. Shout out to Zack Wild, by the way. But anyway, Zack Snyder, he was doing DC good. Yeah, they weren't making billions, but they were making good money. May not be Marvel money, but they were still making good money. But it wasn't good enough for Warner Brothers, and it's just look, Warner Brothers or DC doesn't have to be Marvel. We just need. I'm just mad that Zack brought them moderate success, but now look at them. And the way they screwed over Zack with his daughter passing away, which I know what that feels like because I lived that life. I saw my parents lose a daughter, okay? I lived that life. So that's why I'm really mad at Warner Bros. For the way they did Zack. And I'm just saying, look at the success Zack had, and now with Zack gone, they haven't had that same success. You can count Aquaman, but Aquaman was part of the narrative. But if you look at everything post Snyderverse, DC hasn't been able to do shit. And then,
unless it's outside it.
Yeah.
Like
but
Joker.
Then Dwayne The Rock Johnson fucking tried, and everybody laughed at The Rock because Black Adam only made $400 million. But now look at Shazam, look at Flash, and look at Blue Beetle, and they couldn't even come close to what Black Adam did. So I'm happy to see DC fall on their face for what they did to Zack, what they did to Ben, what they did to Henry, what they did to Gal, and what they did to The Rock. So that's just my take on it.
Henry Cavill got kicked around so much by so many different people. It just, like I said, and Shazam and all that. I don't know, it just was a mess at that. I think too, because they that studio got sold in you had the executives change 4 or 5 times. 3 times. 3 times. It was a constant mess. You couldn't instead of ripping the Band-Aid off, okay, look, let's restart this from scratch. They kind of half-assed it, right? And that half-assing it, letting it prolong for as long as it did, ultimately kind of led to their downfall. But it's some elements worked and were successful, others weren't. It's just what do you even do? So I think will be best. They're just trying to power through the year. A year off will do them some good. A nice passage of time. And then we'll see what they do with this reboot thing. Because, Gunn's made some movies I liked. I didn't like Guardians 2. I like the first one. I like the third one actually the most of the 3, and I like the Suicide Squad quite a bit, and Peacemaker. Peacemaker, I genuinely had a good time. I'm gonna wait and see what he does with Superman Legacy. I hope it's good. It can't just be good. It has to be great. Like, I mean, I hope he delivers something special. I really do. Like, I want it to be great. I want a great new Superman movie. Because we haven't had a Superman solo movie in 10 years. And I'm somebody who likes Man of Steel. There's elements of it I don't like the tornado sequence. I don't like that. Yeah. I generally just didn't really like the Kent sequences. I love General Zod. Like, he was so entertaining and so over the top, like, hammy, but like, he was so much fun to watch in that movie. Like, I mean, it's like even going from like Man of Steel to BVS, it felt like a step down too. Even if they brought in Batman, they had some cool sequences there, like the warehouse scene, which is awesome in the opening 10 minutes. Like going from General Zod to like Jesse Eisenberg, it's just like, I don't know, like that just felt like
Here's
such a like
the
a
thing. Batman versus Superman. Okay, but for the record, I'm a diehard fan of that movie. It's an annual rewatch. But here's the thing: Batman versus Superman movie was more of a setup. They were building up to the Justice League.
Right.
They introduced Wonder Woman. I thought they tastefully, by the way, because I don't think Wonder Woman would have succeeded if it wasn't for Batman versus Superman. That's just my opinion. Because after Batman versus Superman came out, everybody talked about Wonder Woman, and of course that really awesome tribal guitar theme song. But like,
which now every time people hear it, they're just like
building up, and then of course tragedy happened, and then stupid ass Joss Whedon came in and ruined Justice League. But at least we got that Snyder Cut. But it just makes me wonder if the Snyder Cut, and like if Warner Brothers just gave it time off, let Zack come back when he was ready, finish Justice League and release it properly. It makes me wonder if DC would still be going on, like the current DC iteration would still be going on successfully right now. Because like I said, say what you want, but Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, say what you want, the first Suicide Squad movie, they made money.
They did make money. I think because there was hype back then, and then like people saw Suicide Squad and they're just like, maybe not so much. Again, the theatrical version we've seen. I know David Ayer is talking about his version of the movie, which if it ever does get released, I will judge it fairly based on what it is. But like that cut that was released, I'm just like, I like the first like 20 minutes, and then after that, I'm like, it's like my least favorite.
I said, I get it, but the thing is, like, they were doing okay, like
box office wise, but they had like bad word of mouth and reputation because like BVS, like I said, it opened huge. It's that drop off where like the word of mouth wasn't the strongest, and maybe like I said, if they would have given it time, but like I said, I mean, going back to 2016, BVS got a lot of shit from a lot of people, and that kind of hurt it. I think too, it wasn't all Zack. I think too, the studio trying to rush everything. Like, had they just taken their time a little bit more, maybe tweaked a few things. Like, you didn't need everything in that movie. But again, hindsight is 2020.
I think another thing too is that the Ultimate Cut, if the Ultimate Cut was released in theaters, I think it would have made a little more money.
A little bit more, I think so too. I don't think it'd be like widely praised.
$800 million is not something to frown upon, but they did because they're like.
It was the drop off that, because it had a huge opening. It was the box office legs that really kind of like signaled.
Yeah, but I understand the drop off, but now that drop off doesn't seem so bad.
Right, compared to where they're at now.
Happening now, you know, like that drop off doesn't seem so bad now after we've seen these other drop offs as of late.
Right, but you're also seeing that for other superhero movies too, like Marvel. Like they got lucky with Guardians 3; that was their only success.
Well,
like
here's the
recent.
thing: the reason why I think the reason why Guardians 3 was moderately successful, and I say moderately because it should have made more money, and it did cost them a lot of money to make. But it was moderately successful because Guardians is the most isolated. Like it's like the least connected to the MCU. To me, the MCU ended with Endgame, and I felt like Spider-Man No Way Home was like the encore. And then after that, it was over because the quality hasn't been the same ever since.
Yeah, and like I said, Guardians, because like it was isolated. Did you see Volume 3 at all or no?
What?
Did you see Volume 3?
I saw it. I wasn't really impressed because I think the first two volumes run circles around the third one.
I'm the opposite. I like the third one more.
It opened with that, everybody had a sob story in the beginning. And then not only that, but the music choices weren't like they usually are. Like they chose some like 90s deep cuts and stuff, and it was like,
I really like the bad guy,
there's
though.
the 80s and 70s music that we're used to.
Right. Yeah, I know. And plus,
just had a different tone, I guess.
Right, and it's also, I think too, a lot of it was like hurt a little bit by the way the MCU was like, just like kind of like with some of the creative decisions that they made. Because like even going back to like say Avengers Endgame, like
Ant-Man didn't help the cause either.
No, like there was like a lot of things, and plus, like I said, I like the fact like I like pretty much after Guardians 3, I'm like I don't really have any interest really going forward. Maybe if there's another Spider-Man movie, but that's really about it. I mean, like I said, we've just had just too much stuff like at once. I haven't bothered with the Disney Plus shows. I hear Secret Invasion is absolutely terrible. I've seen some of the clips and I'm like, what happened? Like, we have more stuff in Phase 4 than we had in like the first 3 phases combined in terms of just so much content, just like shit out on the screen at once, and it's really sad to see.
Bob Iger just came out and said like a couple weeks ago saying like, yeah, I'm disappointed with all these flops and we need to like refocus our plan, whatever, meaning that he wasn't happy with what you just said, Secret Invasion, all that. But you know what's really interesting? I was just thinking about this morning, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 upcoming movies, both on DC and Marvel, we have to talk about real quick. One,
the Marvels?
Well, yes. So one, the Marvels. Here's why I'm fascinated by this. I feel this movie's gonna flop hard, but here's the funny thing is the first. By the way, for the record, I don't like Brie Larson, but like, Captain Marvel, as much as I did not like it, it made $1 billion.
Right, because it was the post-credit stinger in Avengers Endgame. They tricked people into, or Avengers Infinity War, they tricked people into thinking it was going to be important, but in reality, it was just a big waste of time.
But it made $1 billion.
I saw that in theaters.
It made $1 billion. I feel like this one's going to flop. And then on the other side, Aquaman, the first Aquaman movie, which I love, by the way, made $1 billion. And now we're expecting Aquaman to flop. So both of these movies, Marvels and Aquaman, coming off $1 billion successes, and now we're bracing for like a nosedive.
Hey, you know what? It's happened before. Look at Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton's movie, and the sequel, Alice Through the Looking Glass. I mean, Alice in Wonderland was a terrible movie.
These are going to be hard like, you're talking $1 billion.
I feel like Aquaman has a chance. Aquaman has a chance due to the international box office. I mean, look at the Meg 2. Not doing so well here, international box office-wise. Already made more than The Flash in like 2 weeks.
Honestly, I think Aquaman's going to flop harder than Blue Beetle did. I really think so. And I think here's why.
We haven't had any promotion for the movie, mind you.
Well, not just that. There's a couple of reasons. One, like you said, lack of promotion. 2, Amber.
Oh, well. Oh, yeah. Let's not forget that.
Okay, now I'm probably not going to see it, and here's why. And this is the main reason why. One.
Because it's the end?
Yes. Well, no. One, originally Michael Keaton was in it. But then they reshot it because of The Flash. Ben
Affleck was filmed for it.
So then they're like, okay, since we're changing the DCU and we're not going to have Michael Keaton moving forward, let's bring back Ben Affleck. Great. We get to see Ben Affleck one last time. Okay, then that clown, James Gunn, just came out and said, no, we're taking Ben Affleck out because we don't want to leave any promises. No, we want to see Ben Affleck one last goddamn time. Like, so you know what? I'm not going to go see it. Like, they're shooting themselves in the goddamn foot. So.
Yeah. I've heard, like, crazy things behind the scenes with Aquaman 2. Like, I mean, it's the studio changes and everything. Like, it's just like, you know, you might as well just have, like, maybe they should have kept one of the original Flash endings with Catwoman. Because, like, if you're going to reboot it anyways, at least kind of have everyone there together to kind of, like, sing and hold hands and all that. To say, hey, you know what? We're going to a new direction, but at least this Earth is still preserved, like, where it's at. Although, it is kind of funny, like, the big torturous thing for Ezra Miller is that he gets trapped in the Clooney universe. Like, I mean, like, it feels like the ultimate punishment in a way. And even then, like, I still like the Schumacher movies. Like, I mean, I have a poster of Batman and Robin, like, right there. It's ridiculous, but it's fun.
I got a spot for him, too. And by the way, we released the Schumacher cut, please, of Batman Forever. I want to see it.
Kevin Smith's showing it at his theater.
I know!
But, like,
he's doing it. He's only like 4 hours from me, but it's sold out. I want it to go. It's actually it's actually tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow they're fucking doing it. I was like, damn. But.
No, well, how can he screen it but nobody else is allowed to see it? Like, that's the bullshit.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's not screening it per se. He's just selling tickets for his regular show, and then afterwards, because he legally can't sell tickets for this movie, so he's just going to show it after his live show is over.
The loopholes.
Yeah, that's the loophole.
Legal loopholes.
So, personally, I think, this is just my opinion, here's the thing. I think this writer strike's gonna go on longer than it will. HBO Max is gonna want content. So my prediction is, I think the Schumacher cut and the Ayer cut will see the light of day on HBO Max because they're gonna need their numbers to go up. Because I think all of James Gunn's DC plans are gonna get postponed, and then they're gonna want content. I think the Ayer cut and the Schumacher cut is gonna happen on HBO. That's my prediction. I'm speaking it into existence. I have no proof. It's just me.
There's gonna be delays for sure. I mean, the Penguin show was filming when the strike happened, so they have to go back and bring everyone there. I'm like, I was looking forward to that series.
So is Mortal Kombat sequel. As much as I hated the fucking 2021 movie, I still want a sequel. So yeah, they're filming Mortal Kombat, and that got right when they were filming too.
Yeah, we're in a weird state too, and like I said, DC with their stuff. I mean, I guess Blue Beetle. Quick thoughts on the movie.
Yes,
I thought it was all right.
We went down a rabbit hole. But go ahead, Blue Beetle.
But that's the fun thing with discussions. We get so far out rabbit hole. Oh yeah, that's right, Blue Beetle. But anyway, so with Blue Beetle, I personally thought the movie was kind of all right. I think Joel Omari Dueña is a really good actor. He's great on Cobra Kai, and he brings he was my choice for Jaime Reyes. When the movie was announced, oh, cast him, and then everyone was like, oh yeah, cast him. Perfect casting, fits well. I think the suit, the practical suit, looks pretty well. I like the family and the family elements to it. The synth score is kind of good too, but a lot of it just feels kind of been there, done that. I mean, you have this villain in here, they kind of throw all the development in the last 2 minutes of them on screen. That could have been something that they kind of carried it throughout. And I'm sorry, Susan Sarandon was just awful in the movie. She's good in other things, but she is not giving a shit at all. And I'm so fucking tired of boring ass cookie cutter corporate villains in movies. Bring back the days of RoboCop with my Dick Jones, who are just chewing the scenery, such assholes the whole way through. The Meg 2 was the same way. You had this Captain Planet villain, and she's like, that's right, Jonas, we're gonna pollute and we're gonna make money off it. Ha ha ha. I'm like, you're not even fun. You're just this is the twist villain. It's so lame, and I'm just so tired of it. Put some goddamn effort forth. Give me the real fun piece of shit villains that you just love to hate. I'm so sick of this in movies. Nobody's even trying anymore with their villains half the time. Oh, we gotta make everybody sympathetic and all that. No, fuck that. Give me unapologetically evil asshole villains. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, say what you want about it, but the villain I liked him because he was a piece of shit. There's no sympathy with this guy. He's just a horrible, horrible person. And it was great. Finally, unsympathetically evil villains. I'm tired of sympathetic villains. They're great, small doses, but I want my unapologetically evil, out of touch with reality asshole villains that you just love to hate, but they're so entertaining to watch on screen. I think the DCO had that with Black Mask. Ewan McGregor was so over the top, hammy entertaining. To me, I'm oh, this felt like a nice throwback, 80s, piece of shit villain that you'd see, Ronnie Cox play or something. I'm like, give me more of that in movies. They're just not trying anymore with it. And, that was the thing with Blue Beetle. It's some of it just felt like I've seen so much of it before. Okay, the hero fights a villain who's the same power set as him. I kind of predicted everything that was happening. Nothing objectively terrible or anything like that. I mean, it's well made, and like I said, the family element too, I think, helped make it stand out. But it just, so much of it's stuff I felt like I've seen before. It just felt kind of I felt numb to it. I felt really kind of nothing for scenes. I feel like I should have felt more. Honestly, the superhero stuff's the least interesting part of that movie. The stuff where it's just him trying to help his family make a living or something like that actually was a more interesting story than that was basically a Spider-Man-esque story. The kind of relatable Peter Parker stuff. That was the more interesting movie. But it was just kind of oh, we got to have this. Here, corporate, put this in here, put this generic thing in here, put this generic thing in here. But I mean, the movie pretty much stands on its own, so it could pretty much go wherever. There's really no connective tissue to anything else. They reference the existence of Superman and Batman, but you don't see anyone pop up or anything like that. It really can stand on its own 100%.
Yeah, even though it's funny, first James Gunn was yeah, this is my launch movie, and then also now he's now that the movie flopped, he's oh, I don't know, man.
It's kind of a weird, it's not making sense what he's saying with it. Just
yeah, he's going back. For example, and again, I gotta take my shots when I can, but first. He's oh yeah, I'm gonna make a young Superman movie. Now he's oh, this is not a young Superman movie. Then it's well, wait a minute. Then why'd you?
You know what it is? Because he does it. He wants a fresh start with his Superman. I get that because the foundation is different for Henry Superman. Henry Superman's a very different than a classic Superman because he's he's not necessarily the aspirational heroic type for Superman. He's more a cathartic motivational where he has kind of the backstory. He's not like with aspirational heroes, they kind of have to have that like within them before. Because like here, it's like, oh yeah, my dad died and all this other stuff. He's kind of like they're building him up to become more like classic Superman instead of kind of like embracing that from the get go. So like he wants a different foundation. Plus with the way the Kents were like portrayed in that, I'm sure he like wants to work around with elements in that. Like since Henry's like already like 40, he kind of wants to like do a younger like. So I understand like wanting to kind of start fresh and do a bit of a different take with Superman, because like the Henry Cavill thing, that's like fully like Zack Snyder's take on it. And like I said, I know him and Zack are friends and they've worked together on like Dawn of the Dead and some other stuff, I'm sure. But like he wanted to kind of do his own thing. Like I think he wanted to kind of more emulate, not 100% Christopher Reeve, but something kind of closer to that. So, and I think because Superman killed Zod, like he wanted a Superman who doesn't kill. So I think that's like the point too. So like if it was a straight up reboot, I'm sure like, because Henry Cavill is a very charismatic guy, but like he wasn't really allowed to be like showcased like that natural charisma. Like I think he would have benefited his Superman, and I think would have benefited the movies a little bit more with some of it.
Well, not that I wanted them to finish their Justice League arc, but I actually wanted another Henry Cavill Superman movie where he faces Brainiac. That's what
that's what I wanted too. I wanted that like really badly, and I heard rumblings that are maybe doing that, but I don't know. Like Henry Cavill, like, hi, I'm going to leave The Witcher because like these people don't understand the source material, and then like I'm going to come back to be Superman.
I jumped out of my seat when he showed up in Black Adam. I'm like, thank you, and then James.
I was like, it's good to have you back, and he announced it all,
honestly,
and it's like.
I'm beginning to wonder if James Gunn is just being a puppet for the studio, because he keeps back. For another example, where another questionable James Gunn move, the whole Gal Gadot thing. I don't think Gal Gadot's lying about she had a meeting with them about Wonder Woman 3, and then James Gunn the next day said, "Oh no, we didn't meet."
He didn't say anything about Gal Gadot, like about not Wonder Woman. That's the only thing he's not really like touched on. He touched on other rumors with it, but he hasn't been talking about the Gal Gadot thing.
He said there was no meeting, and Gal said there was, and I don't think she's lying. I just think James is just being a puppet for the studio, and the studio.
I think you're right. There's definitely a studio puppetry going on there. Some things he'll deny like outright, but then other things just like I don't know anymore, because like I think like the studio is constantly changing things like over and over again. I think honestly they just need a good break from DC. Like. I mean, we'll have Joker next year, but that's it. Like, take a little bit of time off.
Joker and then Batman Part 2, which...
Well, that won't be 2025, but...
I'm just worried about some of the rumors swirling about Batman Part 2, because...
With Clayface or something,
I'm just worried that they're going from one extreme to the other. What I mean by that is, they start off with a grounded movie, and now you're going to go into that fantastical side...
I want more fantastical Batman stuff. I feel like we've been like grounded, gritty, like Batman for so long, and I'm just kind of like I want something that kind of embraces some things a little bit more. I mean,
I know. I just feel like it's just a sudden move. But Joker
I don't know,
2 I'm excited for because
it's gonna be wacky and crazy. Yeah, Joker 2 is gonna be insane. Isn't Batman Part 2 coming out in 2025? Yeah, I mean, Batman Part 2 is supposed to come out in 2025. That one's going to get delayed, I'm sure. The same with Superman Legacy. That won't come out in 2025. That's going to be 2026. Unless this writer's strike wraps up.
They're better off. I think
a long wait will be good for them.
I think a long wait will be good for them, but I still think it's going to flop either way, just because I think the DC brand's been permanently damaged. And
needs to build up that goodwill.
Sean, I've said this to you off air, but I'm just going to say this. I think you and other people overrate how much of a draw Superman really is.
Well, I mean, box office wise, I mean, if you're like Superman
Batman is their bread and butter. Superman.
Well, yeah, Batman is their bread and butter. It's just why do you think Batman's in everything? I know that. Like, I mean, Batman's their $1 billion boy. Aquaman is too, but the second movie's not going to do that much.
Yeah.
But Superman, like I said, I think because you just need a really great Superman movie. And as much as I like Man of Steel, I can see like some things like in it like kind of put people off from it. Like I said, the Kents in particular, and that's really terrible tornado scene. But it still made a good chunk of money for for Man of Steel. I just think it just needed one more draft like with its script a little bit like it needed a little bit of improvement with like the Clark Kent elements, and I think the Kents in particular, like that's the stuff in the movie I'm just like I didn't really like that with it, but like the Zod and Krypton stuff, keep it 100% the same. Like that stuff is great. It just needed a little bit more polish than that, and a little bit less shaky cam. Like actual have the camera on a freaking tripod, because every shot in the movie is like this. It's a little distracting.
I personally loved it just because I feel like it makes like an impact on the hits and whatever. Actually,
no, not the fight scenes, but just like a dialogue scene where they're just kind of like sitting down or something like that. It's still like, like those little bits. I'm like, come on.
Okay. So bottom line, this is how I feel about. Okay, first of all, I'm a diehard Snyder head, with the exception of Sucker Punch. That's the only movie I won't defend. But I'm a Snyder head. However, I understand there are beer people and there are wine people. So wine people don't like beer and beer people don't like wine. So I get it. There's people.
What if you don't like either one?
I'm just saying
you're an alcoholic.
I understand. what I'm saying is Zack Snyder's movies are an acquired taste. I get that. But to me, it tastes good. But what I was getting at is what Zack was
Watchmen's
doing,
my favorite of his. That's his best movie.
What Zack was doing was working. It may not have been what DC wanted, but it was working. And I felt like at least what Zack was doing was anti-Marvel, whereas post-Zack and what James Gunn plans on doing is just copying Marvel. I like the fact that Zack was doing his own, doing the anti-Marvel thing. What I mean by that, no stupid jokes, no bright colors and stupid jokes and comedy.
I kind of wish there was more color and less desaturation.
Like I said,
look at Watchmen. Watchmen is a beautiful looking movie with multiple color palettes.
But you got to differentiate from Marvel.
I mean, you can just
that was the right approach. And now they're trying to copy Marvel. And now they look stupid.
Like I said, I don't know why a lot of his movies went desaturated. Like Watchmen is such a beautiful looking movie and has like from a color palette standpoint, there's so much color, it's bombastic and certain scenes in that. I'm like, where was that in Man of Steel? Like some of it's just for the Krypton stuff, okay, but a lot of bits just felt kind of a little bit too gray. I'm like, a little bit of color wouldn't have been so bad in some of it.
That's
a nitpick right there. I mean, just a little bit more because some of it's a little. I think it's probably to hide some of the CGI effects is why he does it. But
and to
just
be fair,
a little bit more.
The CGI in Man of Steel still holds up. Meanwhile, I just rewatched Aquaman recently. Woof, that doesn't hold up.
Oh, I thought Aquaman's effects looked a little better than Man of Steel.
When they're fighting, it was mind blowing at the time. But then upon a recent rewatch, oof, now
Aquaman's a very nice looking superhero movie. That's a beautifully shot. It's Atlantis looks good.
Watch it again because I.
All right, I'll watch it again. I'll watch it again before the new movie.
It's aged already. So, I got
no love for Oceans to Oceans when it's playing.
One more thing on Zack Snyder, and then we can move on because I see a lot of questions in the chat, and there's a Dune question I want to get to in the chat. But before we move on, and since we're still on the topic of Zack Snyder, we have to talk about this, Sean. And Joe, I want you to take on it too.
I know
Rebel Moon trailer has dropped.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to talk about. Okay.
Okay. For those who don't know, for those who don't know, Rebel Moon is Zack Snyder's new movie coming on Netflix. But here's the thing. The story behind Rebel Moon is after Zack was fired from DC, he went to Disney and pitched a Star Wars movie where he said, hey, let's do a Seven Samurai movie in space. And then Disney told Zack to fuck off. So now he's taking this idea and making it his own. It's basically Star Wars, but with his own coat of paint over it.
Star Wars Dune and
looked good. The thing that hurt the most for me, Sean, I would love to see this in the movie theater because it looks
great. Nice. I am glad he is doing original IP.
Yes.
I mean, there's definitely we know the Star Wars behind the scenes stuff with it, so a lot of it's based on that. But I'm like, good. You don't have to worry about fan expectations or having to when you have really iconic characters, it's sometimes hard to kind of do your own take on it because there's that built-in fan base and you have that so many years of source material where the characters are a specific way. So trying to tweak it or do anything it's very noticeable. I think Gunn can get away with it sometimes because he uses lesser characters a lot in his movies, but for the more popular ones, that's a lot harder to kind of get away with because you have a built-in fan base and expectations for these specific characters. But with Rebel Moon, fuck it. He's got pretty much his full creative freedom. Although he said he's going to do a director's cut. I'm like, why do you have a director's cut? You have Netflix. Just release
1
the
hour
whole thing
longer.
at once.
They said, it's going to be 1 hour longer. But here's the thing. Apparently, and this is another thing. It's original IP. Isn't that what everyone's been demanding?
Good.
Everybody's been demanding. original IP.
I'm just glad he's doing like more original IP stuff. I'm like, he did so many comic book movies and like adaptations of that. For some reason, I'm like, do this, Zach. Like, let's see your more original IP stuff. I'm more looking forward to Rebel Moon than like anything he's done the past couple of years. Like, I'm interested in it.
He also said,
it's original.
Joe, I think you'll appreciate this. So Zack Snyder showed up at Gamescom last night. It's revealed that Zack is a diehard gamer. He's a Fortnite fan. He even said that Fortnite distracted him from his filmmaking. Anyway, and also history shows Zack Snyder did Army of the Dead with Batista, and Batista and Zack are with Netflix, and Netflix just required the rights to Gears of War. That being said, Zack Snyder came out and said, I want to do Gears of War. And I'm like, yes! Do it!
Yeah, I mean, let him do it. Let him do it.
Joe,
do Gears of War. I don't have an Xbox. I was a PlayStation guy, but like I played Gears of War like once at my friend's. So I had fun with it.
So Joe,
yeah,
please,
I think
want
that
your
would be
take,
great.
Joe. What's your take about?
I think it's about time we see a Zack Snyder Gears of War. I do.
Yes, with Batista in the lead role as Marcus Phoenix. Please. I want this bad.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say one thing about DC. My take on DC is very polarizing because I miss the Arrowverse. And I'm probably in a league of my own with that, but
I used to like it, but I literally it burnt out my enthusiasm for it as it just kept going and going and going. Like I felt depressed watching it.
It was very repetitive, but I think they did some of the story arcs and everything better than they do in the movies. Like Flash, for instance, if you watch the Flash seasons of the CW,
after then season 2, it's not worth watching.
I just think that I think they did the story arcs much better. They did fumble a couple of different things, but I think the general consensus in that series was just done correctly.
See, I like the first 2 seasons of The Flash. Then season 3 is where things like always go wrong for Arrowverse TV shows. It happened with Arrow. Seasons 1 and 2 really dug it. I'm like, I can't wait to watch this show. And then the only one that actually did okay, I think, was Legends of Tomorrow. Supergirl was never that good, and I tried.
I think I just liked because I had crushed on Melissa Benoist.
I tried. Believe me, I tried. Once season 4, I was watching season 4, and I was just seeing how bad some of it was. I literally was I was trying to watch the entire Arrowverse and trying to keep up with it, but it was it was just such crap, and I just felt embarrassed watching it. And I'm just I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I was I'll maybe tune in for Crisis to see where that kind of ends, but I was just checked out. I couldn't do it anymore. I can't torture myself anymore. They literally forget their own lore half the time to say something about society, and I'm this doesn't make any sense at all. It became painful to sit through. It became torture. And then the quality of the effects went down. I think because they tried to have too many shows going on at the same time. When it was just Arrow, it was easier because it was just, that was it. And then it just kept going and going and going, and just so much cringe. We are the Flash, Barry. It's just too much. Everyone became a superhero, and so you lose the everyday regular people that kind of help make the supers feel more special. Everyone got some other human powers. It's the same thing over and over again. Barry motivational speech, Barry motivational speech, Barry motivational speech. Iris same thing over and over again.
They did drop to formula at one point.
Yeah,
they had their same formula for every episode. But,
right. Legends of Tomorrow was at least a little bit fun because they went through time and just did we're whatever, we'll do whatever crazy shit we want.
And Tavia brings up Superman and Lois. That was probably one of the best ones. So
I watched the first season. I haven't watched the rest, but season 1 was actually pretty good. I'm wow, there's actual money thrown at the show.
It's not connected. They had the same actor and actress, but it's not connected to the Arrowverse apparently.
It's a part of the multiverse or something, because Diggle shows up on the show, and I like Diggle in Arrow, but it's its own Earth, so it's not in the same Earth as the other shows. Which I know, good. Stay away from that because it just became so messy. Like you said, the Arrowverse should have ended years ago. It should have ended with Crisis, and that should have been it. But they kept it going, and then just kind of depressing. It was kind of sad because I used to get so excited to watch those shows, and then they just got so progressively bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. Just oversaturation of just crap. It's the same thing with the MCU. I can't watch the Disney Plus shows. I'm just I just miss when it was just movies. It was easier to follow. I'd watch like one or two a year.
Just it. They incorporate. I think that's what part of their downfall is. They incorporated the shows into the movies. So now if you see some of these movies, if you didn't see the show, you won't get some of the shit in the movies.
Yeah,
right.
I think that it's like a homework assignment. Well, I don't want to do homework. Like
just want to watch a movie. You see,
yeah,
at least with like
rumor has it. Again, shout out to the Weekly Planet podcast. Rumor has it that Avengers 6, aka Avengers Secret Wars, is gonna be the reboot. It's gonna reset everything.
Can it just end?
I think it should just like I said, to me, Endgame was it for me. Like Endgame was like
every day I have more respect for Chris Nolan because Batman trilogy is the only superhero story that has a true beginning, middle, and an end. That's
honestly,
it.
I only liked the Dark Knight. I didn't like the other two.
Well, you know what? But at least he ended it, right?
Yes.
At least he had the decency to end his storyline. Everyone else is just like, they just go on endlessly, and it's like,
I'll give him credit for this. The Dark Knight Rises originally was supposed to have Heath Ledger in it, but obviously when he died, that just threw a wrench in everything. So I thought they did a decent job coming up with something different.
Yes.
So
this is your ally.
Honestly, I don't mind. I didn't mind that version of Bane. I didn't.
I kind of love him. Like, I mean, we went for like Joel Schumacher's Bane, who is really funny, but this is a really bad adaptation. Boom.
I think what it was is I liked seeing Batman get his ass whooped.
Oh, it was great.
I fucking loved it. Like I fucking loved. Because here's the thing.
It's the Rocky 3 formula.
I don't like Christian Bale as Batman.
Because Bruce Wayne is good.
I love the movies. But I don't like Christian Bale. I hated like you just said, Bruce Wayne was good. Hated his Batman. And Pattinson's the flip opposite. Love his Batman, hate his Bruce Wayne. Anyway, so when I saw a big muscular Tom Hardy just beat the shit out of him in the sewer, I fucking loved it. Like,
I was great. And I'm a Batman fan. Like when he breaks his back, I'm like, good.
Well,
you actually feel the stakes.
Back, like break.
That is the vertebrae out of alignment.
But that was definitely the tribute to that.
Right. I mean, they had to like.
I fucking loved it.
He had to punch his like vertebrae back in place or whatever.
But my whole problem with the whole, man, we're going down this rabbit hole again. My whole problem with the whole Dark Knight arc. I'm talking about the whole overarching arc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is where Zack Snyder got it right. Batman. Okay, so Batman Begins. He becomes Batman. He became Batman for 2 years, and then he goes away for 8 years, and then he comes back to rescue. He walks from China to Gotham, and then fucking fakes his death, and he retires. That's not what Batman did. Zack Snyder got it right. Batman's been Batman for goddamn 25, 30 years and never quit. He got that right. Like, yeah, that's what bothered me. Was Batman didn't just become Batman for 2 years, go away, come back, and go away again. That's not how it was never done like that. And
I mean, I like Batman. It's an obsession for Batman. Like he's always going to kind of do this stuff. But you know what? One thing I'm curious to see how if they do get to it, Brave and the Bold, because the Batman sequences in the Flash were pretty good. Like whether it was Keaton or like Affleck doing some of their stuff. I know the suit's a little iffy, but like I think Affleck just wasn't like. It's just the way it kind of looked.
I love the cowl, the blue cowl. I just hated the armor. But
no, the armor was like the Keaton suit was pretty good.
Ben was fantastic in that. The small time that Ben Affleck, he was fantastic.
Yeah, like I said, damn it, I kind of wish we had the scene, like a scene with him and Keaton together. Wouldn't that have been cool? Like just have them share. It was a missed opportunity.
What
I
really
think
hurts the most, and I'm glad we got a little bit of it, but man, I want that solo Affleck movie. I want that Batman versus Deathstroke movie so goddamn bad. Joe Manganiello was a perfect counter to Batman. I'm talking like physicality wise. Joe Manganiello was the perfect villain for that version of Batman. I was ready for it, and then
Ben's depression and Justice League. Man, I wish we never got the Justice League movie in general. Like, think about like how much healthier. Like, if all that drama wouldn't have happened if they would have just like.
Yeah, all those goddamn reshoots is what hurt. But give Ben Affleck credit. He came back. He said he was done, but he came back for Flash, and he came back for the additional Snyder cut scenes for free.
And he was there for potentially more.
Not only that, but they didn't pay him. He actually volunteered. He did it for free. Ben Affleck did those additional Justice League scenes for free. But what did make me happy, though, is we got that Joker Batman scene at the end of the Snyder Cut of Jared Leto and Ben Affleck's. Loved it. That may be the best Joker Batman banter we ever got. You know why? Because I'm a huge fan of Under the Red Hood and the Death of the Family arc. So I am so
But they weren't doing
glad.
that. They were making it Dick Grayson, which is dumb.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, but they never mentioned it by name, so that was smart.
That's what he wanted to do. Then people at the studio, like, that's one of the instances where, like,
that was such a great scene. Like, why'd you send a boy to do a man's job, and then like that scene?
That's the thing. I'm like, one thing that did frustrate me with the Snyderverse thing is it's like, okay, with the older Batman, you know what would have been cool if he already had like a Tim Drake Robin already with him, because then you would have the Bat family like existing out there. Like, say he had maybe his killing, he had a falling out with like Nightwing and Barbara Gordon. They're off living in like Bloodhaven together or something like that. Then you could have like with him like kind of getting out of his darkness and like kind of bringing the League together. You could have had that as a potential to kind of bring in other members of the Bat family, like the falling out of like with Jason Todd and all that, like Jason coming back, like the family's like him kind of like awakening like a little bit, kind of his little redemption arc.
We're never gonna see it, and it's just a damn shame. Because
I'm so tired of like Batman movies without the Bat family though.
They were building it up, and we never got it. But at least they gave us that Joker Batman. By the way,
right? Even if it is Jared Leto.
Fun fact, they weren't in the same room when they filmed it. They actually filmed their scenes because of COVID.
You can tell.
Still, it was done really well. And I'm just glad that we got that Joker-Batman confrontation.
No, it's good that they at least just had the scene. Like,
yes.
Even if, like I said, it's not my favorite Batman Joker stuff. I mean, Batman 89, to me, like, Keaton and Nicholson just are so good on screen together. Like, that to me, that's my favorite. Because Ledger, like... I mean, in Bale, like, Dark Knight's a fantastic movie, but, like, the Batman and Joker dynamic, I think the best it was done in live action was, in my opinion, still Batman 89 with Keaton and Nicholson, because they can kind of match each other. Like, they just played off each other just so well.
You know, I agree with you. I'm just happy that Affleck...
Also, the
Leto,
60s movie. I have a soft spot for that, too.
But I'm just glad that Affleck and Leto actually used a important comic storyline, the death of Robin. They made that, like... that was great. They actually used that specific part of Batman's life.
One thing I hope with the new DCU, they say they're doing Brave and the Bold, so like you already have like an established Bat family, which I'm like, thank God, because I'm so like I love Batman doing solo stuff. We don't need another
Batman origin,
Right. Where's the Bat family? Like the Bat family is a key ingredient to Batman that like people just refuse to like make happen in movies, and it's kind of frustrating because like that's a key element of Batman that's never really like adapted to anything anymore. The closest we had is Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. I know, it was pretty ridiculous, but like the fact that we like still don't have Robin and Batman in a movie together in what, like 25, like 30 years almost at this point, like I think that's kind of ridiculous. Well, we had Robin, John Blake, and like The Dark Knight Rises. That doesn't count. That's not really like in a suit or anything like that.
I mean, Titans did it, but you know, obviously we want it in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, Titans, like, I felt bad for the actors, because, like I actually met some of the actors from Titans. They were pretty cool.
Nice. Who'd you meet?
Like, I met Brenton Thwaites, and then I met Corinne, who played Jason Todd. So they were at a Comic-Con, so I met them. I even asked a question about, like, well, this was before the show was canceled. I'm like, all right, well, you have Tim in there. Are you going to bring in Damien at some point? And then they were kind of really coy about it, like, but like the crowd was kind of like really into the question. So, because honestly, like,
I hate Damien. I know you love Damien.
He's my favorite Bat Family character.
He's my least favorite. I can't stand him. Little bastard.
Well, like the thing is, the issue is when writers forget his development. Like he's supposed to start out kind of unlikable, and then like.
Okay, I take it back, Joe. I love Damian Wayne in Injustice 2. That's my go-to.
That's my go-to in that go-to.
That's my go-to
in that game. So, Super Sons, that's something you should check out. Like, they had an animated movie, which is pretty good.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm behind on the DC animated movies. I have to.
I'm kind of the same way, too. Like, a lot of them, like, post-apocalypse war. Outside of the Super Sons one, like, they just, like, the Tomorrowverse, I'm just kind of like, man, I have, like, no enthusiasm for them. Now, they did announce a Crisis on Infinite Earths type movie, so I've heard rumors that they're going to, like...
Yeah, Watchmen and Crisis on Infinite Earths, yeah.
I heard Crisis was like, I heard like a year or two ago rumors about a Crisis movie that was supposed to be like a trilogy of films. It was going to kind of incorporate the past DC universes all together into something, including the DC animated movie universe, which ended with Apocalypse War. And then there was an epilogue, like Constantine film that kind of ends on a weird note. Like it's like setting up for something and it's never been followed up on. And I'm like I said, because I liked Apocalypse War. I mean, I liked what it did for my channel.
Congrats. Yeah, I know. I love Apocalypse
Yes.
War. That's basically like the Avengers Endgame of the DC animated, movies.
Right. But at the same time, I'm like, that should have been two-parter. Like, they really kind of needed a second half with it, with like Flash going back and kind of like, kind of winning the
all
fight. Like,
things considering, though, I thought it was well done. All things considering.
Right. And hey, Damian was mature in it. Like, he was, he literally gives his life for his dad.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, like, it's good to have a character arc. So, but honestly, like, what I would like to see in Brave and the Bold, I know it's going to be like a father-son focused thing, but Dick Grayson and Damian, to me, are my favorite dynamic duo, because then you have, like, it kind of, like, flips on its head, because you had, like, the more happy, upbeat Batman, they had, like, the dark, kind of broody Robin, so it kind of flips the dynamic a little bit, and in all honesty, Dick was a better father figure than, Bruce was to Damian, like the stuff. I mean, there's some good stuff like with Peter Tomasi, like who wrote a lot of it in the New 52, and I know they got an upcoming comic book series where it's just kind of them, kind of like reacquainting again, like as Batman and Robin. So I'm excited about that. It's going to come out next month, so I'll cover that on the channel. But yeah, so. And but it's like it'll be the first time they're really kind of being father and son without Alfred there, because like DC killed off Alfred a few years ago, like in the comic books, which is like, and I'm surprised it's actually like stuck as long as it has, because what happens is they did this like City of Bane arc, and then Batman is off like having sex with Catwoman on a beach somewhere. He's like, all right, Damian, you go in and take care of some stuff. Damian gets captured basically, because like Bruce sends him in, and meanwhile Bruce is like just off like hooking up with Catwoman the whole time while the city is like under attack and all that. And I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? You're wasting time like just doing all this stuff. Like your Wayne Manor's been taken over and all that. Damian gets like taken out by like Flashpoint Batman, mind you. Like he's in there somehow, like he's evil for whatever reason. It doesn't really make much sense. And then he gets taken in, like Damian's like strapped to a chair. He's forced to watch as Bane snaps Alfred's neck like right in front of him. And then like he's like goes into all like anger, like sad, depressed mode. Like it was kind of a hard time to be a Damian fan for like a stretch of a few years, because you had to like, then you went into Teen Titans. It just like went miserably depressing, because like every writer just like did not understand the fact that like they just kept regressing the character like more and more. And then like it just was like it was hard to watch, like because like originally they were going to do like something called 5G. They were going to try and make him and like Superman's son like the Magneto and like Charles Xavier. And then some writers came in like, this is absolutely like the worst idea you could have. And then they like changed things and whatever. But it was kind of tough to watch for a few years. I mean, Alfred's still gone, which I'm kind of surprised, because like usually things in comic books like never stick. But I mean, it's been like 4 years. So, but like it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. So I don't know. DC's kind of in a weird state with their comic books. Like some ththings are pretty good, some things are like
I think DC's just in a weird state period right now.
They are, because like they'll have some good stuff, but then they'll have some stuff that's kind of like, eh. I mean, I'm covering this event. It's called Night Terrors, and like it's 47. It's like 47 total comic books. Like I've done 46 comic book videos in like the past 2 months, like with issues. I'm like burnt out beyond belief. This is the most ridiculous event, and like half the like 90% of the comics like have nothing that really tie into the event whatsoever. I'm just like, why? Like, why are we doing this? We should have just had like a couple issues miniseries, and that's it. This is just too much. So, but anyways, I went off on a tangent. So
no,
One thing I hope.
Great stuff. Like this could be
One
a great
thing I hope I
podcast.
live to see. One thing I hope I live to see is the ultimate crossover, but I don't know if I ever will. I hope it's either. I don't care what platform it's on. I don't care if it's movies, if it's video games, or what. But I have to see a Marvel versus DC at some point.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, hey, you know what? Crossovers are going on. I mean, they just, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a Godzilla versus Kong versus Justice League comic book coming out starting in October.
Yeah.
And it's the MonsterVerse. I'm like, yes, that's the cool shit we want to see. I mean, they had like crossing over with Power Rangers. They crossed over with Ninja Turtles. I mean, Batman Ninja Turtles movie is actually really good.
I love that movie. By the way,
it's a lot of fun.
better. I'm gonna say it again publicly. It's better than the new Ninja Turtles movie that's
I would agree with that. I like that movie a little bit more. Yeah. Hey, Damian was the Robin in that too, and you didn't hate him.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Real quick on the Damian thing. Like, I think it's because I don't like the way Damian's always been portrayed. But here's the thing. For me, as a young boy growing up, Dick Grayson was always my Robin. My first iteration of Batman, when I was like 4 or 5 years old, was the Adam West.
Yes.
And so I felt like I grew up with Dick Grayson because I started with the Adam West Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course, you know, the Keaton movie came out, and then of course the animated series, and it was always Dick Grayson. And then So I felt like I grew up with Dick Grayson, and then I got to discover Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing. So I felt like I literally grew up with Dick Grayson.
Right.
He was my Robin, and he's my Nightwing. And he's always been friend. And then I shout out to Tava Smoke on the chat. I like Tim Drake, and I like Jason Todd, and hell, I even like Carrie Kelly. But it's always been Dick Grayson, and I just can't stand Damian Wayne. And when I first saw Son of Batman, the anime movie, I'm like, oh, I can't stand this little bastard. Like,
Son of Batman's not a great one. It's like Deathstroke is terrible.
I just have this bias. I hate the idea. I hate the idea of Batman being date raped by Talia.
No, see, that's a retcon by like Grant Morrison. That's like something Grant did because the original Son of the Demon thing, like, because they were like, that is a terrible idea, and I agree with that. But like, they've kind of like pushed that out of existence. Like, it was just it's a dumb thing because like, for one thing, like, why can't Batman just hook up with somebody he loved, right? Because there was a genuine love with them, like the original stuff, and then they're like, nah, we'll just make her just a total bitch or whatever, and it does it. Like, no,
she gets pregnant, and then she raises him by Ra's al Ghul, and like. And that's
right. Like he
digest. How do you get? You're like 13 years old. For 13 years, you're raised by Ra's al Ghul, and all of a sudden you're just going to be Batman's son. Like, I can't comprehend it. I always love
continuity is iffy
because I just like the fact that Batman discovered Dick Grayson because Dick Grayson went through what Bruce went through. So there's that dynamic there that, they both lost their parents. Like, to me, it was Dick Grayson's my Robin and always will be.
But hey, you know what? I'll say this. When Dick Grayson became Batman, so Damian's first Batman was not his dad. Like, when he was Robin, it was Dick Grayson. So Dick Grayson is the one who chose him to be Robin because he realized this kid needed a father figure because he was raised to be a ruthless assassin. He had to help him out. And that genuine, like warmth character from him, like, they kind of like rubs off on Damian, and then he grows up and kind of matures a little bit because he was 10 years old. Like, this he's a piece of shit when he first gets introduced. Like, that's kind of the point, though. Like, he's psychotic a bit, but he's still like, he's kind of been brainwashed by like the League of Assassins type mentality and kind of groomed to be this higher person. He has to kind of get humbled. He has to kind of learn humanity, if you will. And like I said, I kind of like those like redemption arcs with characters a little bit. It's kind of like I don't going like anime theme, like Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. Like, he's the Prince of all Saiyans, but you actually, like, over the course of like all those seasons, like, he has the most growth as a character, like going from villain and then like kind of like ally a bit, and then you see him like learn to care for his son and kind of make the ultimate like selfless move. Like, to me, that's more powerful in a lot of ways. Like, we need those aspirational heroes who are like really good and like kind of pure throughout, but it's also good to have those characters who start out in a place of darkness, ultimately overcome that to kind of do good. Like, there's something kind of like really effective about that. Not to say every character should be that way, because I feel like sometimes we've like made too many villains kind of turn good, and it kind of like lessens the impact of it. But like, there are some exceptions to it. So
yeah, like Magneto's an exception.
Right.
Yeah. Joe, take this question. Joe, take this question in the chat here from Tava Smoka there. I think it's a perfect one for you to take, and we can talk about it real quick.
Yeah, it says, how would you guys feel about Ed Boon creating a DC versus Marvel crossover fighting game? I think he's kind of leaned towards that at some point, and
do it.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it too. Like, because Joe, you just said you want to see that crossover. Any means necessary. I think the video game route would probably be the best, honestly.
Yeah, because it doesn't require. I mean, it requires getting Marvel and DC permission, but it doesn't require like crossing different production companies like Disney and who does DC production wise?
Warner Brothers.
Discovery.
Yeah, so Warner Brothers and Disney, I don't know if they would collaborate, so it'd be kind of tough. But
I mean, all Disney has to do is just give them the license to use their characters in a video game. That's all they have to do.
Yeah, that's why.
I know it's easier said than done, but let's face it.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, what I was saying is that I think it's easier for them to say yes to that in the capacity of a video game, because they're not losing as much as if they were to say, okay, we'll collaborate on a movie, on a complete film production, you know?
Yeah, a game would be cool. You know what I'd like to? A slasher, like, fighting game would be pretty sweet.
Well, at least with Mortal Kombat, with the guest characters, we get it a little bit of it. There was, Joe, what was the name of that PC game that someone made where the slash?
It was like with Candyman and like Hellraiser and all that. Like I remember seeing something like that. That was pretty cool.
That was actually done really well.
I think Ed Boon talked about it once about like wanting to do like a slasher horror game.
Okay, he wants to do it, but the problem is getting the rights from all the studios. Is what Ed Boon said.
Yeah, that's the shitty part. It's like, come on, just launch some shit out. Let's like make something cool. Like you can get like a story element in there too. Would be pretty sweet. You can get like Ash, like Bruce Campbell, to show up in it too to just like wipe everyone out. I don't know. Like that's just the fanboy in me. So, but yeah,
I feel like in the 80s and stuff, they were more fan service than they were, money oriented. They knew the money was going to come either way, but they figured if they threw fan service at people, that the money would come quicker. And that kind of never changed in the scheme of things, except for the fact that they got greedy.
Yeah. Actually, let's make this transition real quick. So, I could go on all night with you, Sean. That didn't sound good. But like, but let's go to 10 o'clock because we respect everybody's time. And I respect your time, Sean. Okay. Let's make that, since we're on games. Let's make that transition, Joe. So, Sean, please, your 5 favorite video games, and we'll be lenient. You can say video game series if it's too hard for you to choose. Video game series is okay too. So, Sean, your 5 favorite video games.
Shoot, I'm trying to think. I'm just gonna go from like old consoles a little bit, like to kind of like newer. Genesis was Sonic the Hedgehog, like obviously.
Which one?
First one. I have a Sonic, like that's the one I play a lot. Or also like in that Sega Genesis, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie was one that was a classic one. And then The Adventures of Batman and Robin, which I can never beat because it's too fucking hard, but it was a fun game. Good for you.
That's hard. No, that was one of those games that took me all summer.
Yeah, it's I need to like dedicate time and force myself to play it. NES, I don't really know. Like I've played all sorts of different games, so I'll just kind of skip that. PlayStation, I have a really soft spot for Twisted Metal 2. From that area like this. I even actually like the Twisted Metal series. A little iffy. It takes a bit to kind of get into it, but like I kind of grew to like it over the course of like the first season that they had. So Twisted Metal is up there. Tomb Raider, obviously. Like I miss old school Lara Croft. I mean, new Laura is okay, but it's like I kind of miss like that really confident like doing it because it's kind of cool. Laura just does it for the challenge of it. Like I kind of miss that aspect of her. Like Crash Bandicoot was up there too. Mario Kart, of course, like that's my favorite like Nintendo game. Like Mario Kart Wii was my personal favorite because like I remember like the first time getting to use the steering wheel and all that was a lot of fun. The Batman Arkham City, I think, is another game up there. Uncharted 2, definitely up there as well. God of War, I've really liked some of the God of War games there. Sports games, this is a random pick, but like Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2005.
Okay.
It isn't
okay, so I gotta ask. So you're from the rough, rugged city of Detroit. Are you a Tigers, Lions, Red Wings fan?
Yes, and it's depressing how poor a lot of the seasons are.
The Lions are coming up.
Dan Campbell is the guy. He's the chosen one.
Yeah. Hey, you got Axel Foley out of it.
That's right. We have Axel Foley and Action Jackson. Yeah. And RoboCop. I wanted an Action Jackson. Can we get like an Action Jackson like Axel Foley crossover type movie?
Yeah.
Like I haven't watched all of Action Jackson, but like the bits I've seen, I was cracking up so much. Like the first opening of the movie, there's like Biff Tannen's like they just keep going on about like how he's like this
building them up like
and the kid just sees him pass out when he jumps in the car.
Yeah, I love Action Jackson.
Come and get me, and he just drives straight up. But yeah, like I said, all sorts of various types of games. Budokai, the Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
That's a good series. I don't know. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Spyro, I liked a lot when I grew up. Just all sorts of different types of games.
Okay. So you seem to be like one of the PlayStation Prime kids. So that the golden era,
like PlayStation was my golden era.
Laura, Crash, and Spyro, the golden era of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Speaking of PlayStation, folks, be sure to get yourself a NerdCage Live PlayStation shirt wherever it. Oh my God, I can't find the goddamn. I keep throwing my shirts all around, guys.
Merchandise where the real money of the movie is made.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I can't find the goddamn shirt. It's like all my shirts are like.
Well, I saw it pop up earlier.
Spaceballs the flamethrower.
When I was at G-Fest, they had Godzilla the toilet paper, so I bought some.
Oh, nice.
I just immediately was thinking
paper.
Yes. So I gave it to my uncle because I don't know,
there it is.
There it is.
Screen real quick. Yeah, guys, get yourself a PlayStation NerdCage Live gaming shirt. These have been selling like hotcakes. Get yourself. It seems like PlayStation has no problem with it, so it's here to stay, hopefully. And obviously, get this shirt too. This is our second top selling shirt. I'm sure you've seen this website at one point in your life. So, yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see that you're a PlayStation, primary PlayStation guy.
Yeah, like I said, I had all like PlayStation consoles growing up, and then Nintendo. I never really had Xbox. Sega Genesis was like the first thing I played, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then let's do another question in the same vein. Top 5 favorite movies.
All right. I'll kind of throw off some other ones. Let's see. Maybe I'll go 6 or 7. Okay, so number 1 favorite movie of all time is Steven Spielberg's Jaws.
Nice.
Number 2, Batman 1989.
Okay.
Number 3, Predator.
Nice.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Number 4, Back to the Future. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Back to the Future. Number 5, The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, wow.
Right, and then I think it's 6. I have what is it like? I'll keep going until I can get to 10.
Yeah, keep going. Go,
6, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
So 2 Zemeckis movies within that. I think what else I have, like Jurassic Park's up there. Army of Darkness is another one I quite love a bit. I also really like Groundhog Day. That's like one of my annual tradition movies to watch.
Okay.
Shoot, what was? I know I had like one more at the top of my head. I just kind of forgot it. But did I say Jurassic Park?
Yes,
you did.
Okay, so I Jurassic Park, Groundhog Day. I'll leave it with that for right now. I'm drawing a blank off the top of my head because I know I had like another one that was like right up there. But yeah, like that's kind of like a few like rough, like kind of way out there type choices. So well, some of them are kind of obvious ones, but like other ones are just like okay, like kind of there. So that's kind of the basic idea of some of them.
Excellent.
So I know The Great Mouse Detective throws people off, but that is legitimately my favorite.
Because that's actually a really animated film for its time, so
yeah, it's super underrated. Like Vincent Price is so good as Ratigan, like just like every like line and inflection in his voice like is just perfectly animated with the character. Just kind of everything he does with it, like he's just so entertaining in that role. You know what, I'll throw another one. Number 10 was it Toy Story 2.
Okay. Second one. Okay, that's probably my
I'm a Toy Story 2. Yep, that's another PlayStation 1 game I played a lot of. Was like the first was Toy Story 2 on PS1.
The first Toy Story was everything to me. The second one didn't hit the same way the first
second one I like. Maybe it's because like my connection with the game and just like I was all in on the Toy Story 2 hype. I really like Toy Story 3. Did not like Toy Story 4 or Lightyear.
I did not see Lightyear. I thought Toy Story 4 was a lot better than I expected it to be. I really thought the third one was a proper ending.
Yeah, it should have been.
I mean, I almost cried at the end of the third one. The fourth one. Okay, I gotta be careful how I say this, but I'm gonna quote somebody so I don't get in trouble, but it's true, and now I can't really look at the movie the same. So Mark Bernardin, I'm sure for those who don't know who Mark Bernardin is, he's Kevin Smith's co-host.
Yeah.
And let me just say this. Let me just start by saying, if you don't know, he's black. He said this. Okay? I'm just quoting him.
Sayonara.
He said that Toy Story 4 felt like a movie about house slaves versus, field slaves. And now that he said that, I didn't say this. He said this. And now that I heard him say this, and after watching the movie, I'm like, oh my God, like, now that I watch the movie, I'm like, oh my God, that feels kind of weird now. Like, it's like, I almost feel like it's true. So that's why it's like really hard to watch the fourth movie now, knowing that ever since I heard that quote, and I'm like, oh my God, was Disney really going for that? Like,
yeah.
And look at it! Look at your faces. Both of you right now are like.
I'm so confused. I'm like, man, Toy Story 4 just leaves no impact on me. I don't like the ending. I'm like, it goes against like the ending of Toy Story 2. Like, hey, you know what? No matter what happens, we'll still have each other.
I never bothered with Lightyear. It's not that. Here's the thing. I say what you want about the man, but Tim Allen to me is Buzz Lightyear.
Hey, it's Tim Allen, my boy from Michigan, baby.
I could stomach somebody else playing Buzz Lightyear.
I mean, we had the animated series. See, you know what my issue with Lightyear is it went for Interstellar when it should have gone for Flash Gordon. Because how does this Andy's favorite movie as a kid? This is boring as shit. The most entertaining character is a talking cat, robot cat, and Andy doesn't even have that toy. Like Buzz has no personality. He just keeps going back in time, and then like they just keep doing the Interstellar thing. I'm like, this is so lame. But yeah, also I forgot like another movie that was in like top 10, Commando, another Schwarzenegger film.
Yes. Fuck yes.
Most entertaining action movie of all time. Because it's just so ridiculous for the start and just it's never boring.
Yeah. I mean, come on. He lifts up a phone booth and then he got the logs. Like, come on, that's Arnold being Arnold. But like, okay.
Oh, Rocky. Rocky's another series too. Damn it.
I just want to make one point real quick before we finish wrap up because I want to have you plug your stuff in. But like, and Joe, I think you could agree to this too. But Sean, I'm assuming you're a little bit younger than us. But there was a time where like Pixar movies felt like an event.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when the Pixar movie was coming out, there was hype, there was an event, it was unique, it was like, we couldn't wait to go to the theaters.
Up to Toy Story 3.
And then now, with like, now Pixar
Elemental.
movies are just like, yeah, they're just shitting these really crappy Pixar movies out, and they don't hit the same, and the hype's not there. Like, what the fuck happened? Like, there was a time where, like, Pixar was like everything. There was hype, and then they're like, what happened?
Yeah, it's I don't know what happened because, like I said, I still need to see Elemental. Like I had like a ranking of every Pixar movie when I because I actually like a year or two ago, I think it was 2022, like the start of the year. I went through and 2021. I went through and I watched every single animated Disney film in history, including all the straight-to-video ones. It was like several hundred movies, and even watched Song of the South, which trying to find that movie is a bit of a challenge. But literally every single one, and it was kind of like weird, like because like Pixar, like I watched some of these movies I'd never seen before, but like some were so forgettable. Like Onward, I'm like, this is just so boring and generic. I'm like, where was the enthusiasm? Where's the energy? Where's like that Pixar like spunk that they used to have?
The magic, there was like magic, you know.
They had such good like reputation, and then like it just kind of folded. Like I think Cars 2 is the one that people like kind of attribute to it because the Cars franchise. The only reason they made so many movies because the merchandise sold like insane numbers. And even then, like, I didn't hate Cars 2 as much, like, because I when I was doing that, like, watching all the, like, Pixar, I was like, all right, I'll give Cars 2 a watch. So, like, I know it's, like, the most hated thing. Like, this honestly wasn't, like, the worst thing I had seen. But, like, it wasn't great. You know, like, one movie, like, that was Pixar, like kind of changed my perception on movies. You want to know what that was? Ratatouille. Like, I went into that movie, I was on a cruise, and I was like, all right, I'll go check this movie out. And I, like, thought, like, the trailer was like, this is going to be, like, one of the worst things I've ever seen. But, like, screw it, I'll watch it. Ended up becoming one of my all-time favorite movies afterwards. I literally was Anton Ego in the film where he's, like, all cynical, and then all of a sudden he watches the movie, he's like, has that look where he's like, huh? And then boom, you know.
By the way, shout out to Everything Everywhere All at Once where they reference Ratatouille.
Yeah, that was a good movie. Like, I watched it this past year. I didn't do any videos on it, but, like, I couldn't really rent it because it was like you had to buy it, which was like annoying.
Yeah, I was one of the lucky ones where we actually got a theatrical release in Syracuse, New York, and but it was only playing in one theater. It was the Movie Tavern, Joe, and I took my mother to go see it, and my mom was a little confused at first, but she ended up liking it. But oh man, did I love it? I'm a little biased too because I love Michelle Yeoh. I loved her since. I'm a Jackie Chan diehard, so my first exposure to Michelle Yeoh was Jackie Chan's Police Story 3, aka Super Cop. Super Cop first got released in the United States during that whole Jackie Chan hype in the late 90s in America. And I saw Michelle Yeoh, jump the movie.
Greatest stuntman who ever lived. And movie stuntman.
I love Jackie Chan's my Mount Rushmore. But, like, yeah, that was my exposure to Michelle Yeoh. And then, of course, I saw Tomorrow Never Dies. And then,
underrated Bond film.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So I've always been a Michelle Yeoh fan. Like,
she was in Mummy 3 too, if I remember. The Mummy. Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. One of my favorites as well. That movie is fantastic.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate those movies a lot more now since like Universal can't get their Universal monsters off the ground. Like,
I wanted it to succeed so much. It's time for a dark universe. No.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get it right. But I don't mind. But here's the thing, though. I loved Renfield. I loved Invisible Man. I think they're okay. If they just do these individual, like, non-shared movies, I think they'll be okay. They don't need to have a shared universe. They've done it before. They don't need to do it again. All right. Let's wrap this bitch up.
I'm having so much fun. Like this thing.
I know.
Exciting.
But, But we got to end on a high note. Sean, we got to leave them wanting more. And you know
That's
what?
right.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Sean. First and foremost,
Okay.
I have two questions. One, you want to come back on NerdCage, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is a lot of fun.
All right. Well, are you free Saturday?
Potentially. We'll see.
Okay.
It's up in the air at the moment.
Okay. We'll find. Let me know. That being said, Sean, I'm going to give you the floor, man. Plug whatever you want to plug. And if you have a message for NerdCage Nation and anything else, man, the floor is yours, man. And anything you want to promote, whatever. And by the way, the links are in the description of the video, everybody. So if you want to subscribe to JTISREBORN, follow him on Twitter. The link is in the description. Sean, the floor is yours, buddy.
Yeah, so anyways, thank you so much for having me on the show. It was an absolute blast. Like I said, just like I love discussions like this. We just go off we just like there's just so much stuff to talk about, and like even things like we're talking about favorite movies and all that kind of hitting at once. Like I'm just like, oh, this thing, like, because sometimes when you're put on the spot, you don't always like think about it. But like, I mean, I have like so much shit back there. But yeah, so things to plug. My G-Fest video is coming out tomorrow. I just gotta like schedule a time for it. I don't know, like, what do you think is a good time to post that? Like noon or something like that? I don't know, like.
I don't know. I think for every channel it varies, you know.
Right. So like I said, I was gonna do like a premiere of it too, like just like a set premiere so people can.
I'll say this: Joe Blow, because I try to follow their example, they usually premiere stuff at 9 in the morning, 11 in the morning, and noon is when they not premiere, but that's when they schedule their videos.
You know what? That's what I'm going to do. One of those times. And that's Eastern time, too. So, but yeah, like that's the only real thing I have to plug. I have some comic book stuff and after the movies. I'll probably see that Gran Turismo movie, speaking of PlayStation, sometime this week. Whoa, this Sunday, though, is National, like, Theater Day or something like that. So it's $4 movie tickets at, like, most theaters across the nation. So, like, that'll be a good time to see movies. So I'll probably just, like, take advantage of that and just see something on the cheap. Might as well save some money. But yeah, like I said, not too much else to plug at the moment. There'll be more stuff coming out later on this year. But like I said, I had a really great time on here. NerdCage Nation. I don't know the best thing to kind of go out to say, but if you're already subscribed, then you're already watching awesome stuff. Joe, Jay, thank you so much for having me on. I had a great time. Like I said, we could just go off discussing all this stuff because it's stuff I enjoy. It's fun escapism.
And Sean, for the record, too, be sure to utilize NerdCage Nation, the Facebook discussion group, because just if you share your reviews, share your videos, share your content on NerdCage Nation, so more people in NerdCage Nation can connect with you.
All right. If, like I said, I'll think it over. Like sometimes I just post stuff.
I'll even give you like pre-approval too, so you don't have to like because we me and Joe we moderate that. So
right. So like I said, usually I post something. I'm like, all right, it's posted. Because like when I did the comic book stuff this week, it was like, all right, here's like 6 in this one event to cover. I'm like, blah blah blah. Like those are just kind of quick, like unscripted, like videos to kind of get things like going. But like for the actual stuff, I like to put effort for it. Like that'll be like the big premiere stuff. But anyways. Thank you so much for having me on. NerdCage is awesome. This is some cool shit. It's just like I said. I got a big smile on my face. Look at me. We just kind of go off in like in a tangent. This, that. So
dude, we've been hyping this show up for a long time, and this was a long time to make it. So I'm glad we finally made this happen. This was too long. I'm glad we finally made it happen. And we're gonna do this again. I promise you. Yes. Joe, let's just plug in our upcoming stuff here. So let's start with our food review. Joe, go ahead.
All right. If you haven't seen it yet, check out our food review of the Sonic G Fuel energy drink.
Yes, and of course our live stream with Drew Stone.
Yes, Drew Stone of Stone Films NYC and the New York Hardcore Chronicles. That was an awesome show. Check that out for yourself. We learned a lot. We had a lot of fun doing it.
And Drew's gonna be back soon, I promise. And of course, Tier Maker.
Yes, our tier maker for video game consoles with Fisk Vegas, Tadmok 99, and Shaq Oatmeal.
Yes. And speaking of Tadmok 99, tomorrow on Twitch, Joe, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, we will be playing a game that Tadmok designed himself, the Shujinko game.
Yes, very excited to play that. It's basically a Final Fantasy version of Mortal Kombat, 16-bit style. It's going to be a one-off. We're going to start 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Cannot wait. And then, Joe, Saturday, birthday boy!
Yes, our watch party of Ready Player One.
Yes. Now, for the record, people, if you haven't done a NerdCage Live watch party, here's how it works. Because of copyright reasons, we cannot show Ready Player One on screen, but there'll be a timer synced up to where you can follow along with us. The movie's available and streaming on HBO Max. And then, Joe, since we beat Zelda, on to the next game on Tuesday on Twitch.
Yes, God of War 2.
Yes,
Great game.
I'm very excited to play God of War 2. This will be my first time. And then, Joe, next Thursday.
Yes, next Thursday, Jesus of Joe Blow. Celebrity interviews. Jimmy O will be on the show.
And then, Joe, you are the biggest Resident Evil fan I know. So start next Friday.
Yes, we will start our playthrough of Resident Evil 5.
Co-op, Joe the Boulder Puncher, and me, Big Tits Sheva. I'm excited. That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live. Look forward to that. And then 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on September 7th, Joe.
Yes, Big Pat of Big Pat Sports will be back on the show.
Absolutely, back by popular demand, and at some point I'll get back to Hades on Twitch, who knows when. Joe, go ahead and plug in social media.
All right, if you want to get us on Twitter or Instagram, both handles are @nerd_cage. Our link to our Discord is in the description. Become a member there as well. And our Facebook discussion group, that is NerdCage Nation. We love everything you guys put up there. No spoilers, no politics, and for God's sakes, keep it civil.
Yes, and again, I'm just going to mention one more time, get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt. We have various designs like this legendary kaiju shirt. Joe's got the MCU shirt on. For you Zelda fanatics, we have this. There's more designs and more on the way. And of course, Mike Lindell says, get yourself a NerdCage Live pillow. It feels really good on the neck. Much better than my pillow. This is a NerdCage Live pillow. Prop your girlfriend's ass on this pillow. Yes. And we also have hoodies, we have magnets, we have a whole lot. Go to the merch. It's the TeePublic NerdCage Live. Link in the description of all of our videos, and of course the link is also on the Facebook page as well as the YouTube page. So once again, thank you very much to Mr. Sean Wick of JTISREBORN and Big Jack Films. Thank you so much for coming on. We cannot wait to have you back. Also, Sean, can you stick around for like 5 more minutes after we're done? I gotta talk about some stuff. But yeah. So again, please sub him up. Not only that, he is a fantastic content maker and he has very great in-depth reviews of comic books and movies. You really need to check him out. Sub him up. You'll be glad you did. And of course, he's a terrific friend as well. And shout out to my homies in Detroit. So that being said, we please ask you to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread that shit like syphilis. So USA from yours truly, Syracuse, New York, Detroit, Michigan, to all our friends around the world at NerdCage Live and JT Reborn. Enjoy life, stay safe, eat your vegetables, do your push-ups, go to the gym. Fuck math. And good night. We will see you tomorrow on Twitch.
Sayonara.
Thanks very much, everybody. Stick around for our awesome promo.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Ooh, trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!